Don't You Think Those Three Are Weird? By Shy Little Frog. Chapter 1. The Girl Who Does Math Without Thinking. Mark was very bored with math in high school. The fact that he had to take secondary math in college is the worst. Lots of numbers and formula that have to follow in order by itself to get the results. Sorry, university, for failing you, but I can hardly divide. The factorization with which he graduated was forgotten. He didn't even remember how he passed his math test, but that's not the point. In addition to those who were studying some major focus on mathematics, the others in the class looked bored, were eating on the sly, or doing some other homework for some other important classes. Mark already had enough done, so he was bored listening to what the professor had to say about trigonometry in the background. His mind focused on someone in the row below him, playing an RPG in silent, more interesting than watching the class. He couldn't really make out much more than a person with a green hood and a handheld that glowed a little brighter than it should if he was gaming. But who cares? Mark found it easier to see without his glasses. From what little he understood in his position, it was a story in a fantasy world with toads or something. Quite strange. Mark also saw the person who was playing stop several times to write something down in a notebook, too blurry and far to see. Mark must not have forgotten his glasses, but it was already too late to repent. "Miss, would you like to solve the operation?" The teacher approached, almost by magic, next to the row of the person who played, although Mark knew that he was distracted enough watching the game to notice the teacher. The now video game girl seemed to be the one he was keeping. The teacher was probably looking to teach a lesson to someone who was not paying attention to class. God, Mark only had his first class with them and he already found it all boring. But if this turned out the way he thought, it would all go wrong if he showed up with anything other than math. A moment of silence as the video game girl put the console down on the table and looked at the board with the equation on it. Trigonometry? Factoring? Hardest equation ever? Mark couldn't really place what it was. 312 was the quick response of the girl. She turned to the teacher calmly and slowly. She could hear gasps around her, probably from those who knew this teacher best, and that answering him was a bad idea. Mark's thoughts were confirmed when the teacher frowned, creating even more wrinkles on his face. "Young lady, you can't get out of this because of your distraction. Now go up to the blackboard and solve the equation." The girl just nodded silently as she grabbed the pair of crutches that were hidden under her seat, and she started walking towards the blackboard as she settled down. Now that was awkward. Mark didn't see any broken legs or anything, but he did see her leg look a little weak every time she moved forward. A bit like his grandmother, to tell the truth. As the girl walked over to the blackboard, Mark caught glimpses of the teacher's nonsense. "You must have respect for the elders, blah blah blah. Let this be a lesson so that you will not be distracted in my class again, blah blah blah. I am not like the others, teacher, blah blah blah." But Mark forgot what the teacher was saying in favor of watching the girl pick up the marker and start solving the equation. Everyone watched as the girl transformed value B and C to match what was given in value A, rapidly factoring the resulting numbers. It was quite a shock when the teacher stopped talking to see the girl put a 312 as the final answer. It had been a full, shocking minute of her doing the equation and ending with the result she had said in the beginning. "Can I go back to my seat?" the girl asked as she calmly looked at the teacher. Mark had now noticed more features of her as she looked into the room. A girl looked Chinese or Japanese, Korean. Not his fault that he doesn't know. And one of her eyes was black and the other was a strange amber color. "Yes, but next time don't get distracted again," mentioned the professor. He seemed between angry and pleased. The girl didn't answer anymore and went back to her seat. It was a great surprise for Mark to learn from some whispers in the background that the girl wasn't even a math-heavy major, it was only there as a supplemental programmer. Mark had great respect for the girl in the green hood for the rest of the semester.